Hi guys, welcome to another art journal tutorial video. I am starting out this art journal page with some scotch tape down the spine just to reinforce the spine a little bit of my book. And then I'm using some tissue paper by Holtz, and I'm using some gel medium, or actually I believe that is matte medium by Liquitex to stick down the Holtz tissue paper. And I'm going through this pretty quick because I do this for every single page. So if you've seen any of my videos, you've seen this probably 1,000 times. I'm actually considering not even filming this part anymore because I do it on almost every single page. But I just love the way that this technique comes out. So you can see I'm just using my bone folder, and I'm just smoothing out any rough edges, making sure that the paper is really well stuck down, and then I'm trimming around the edges. Now I'm going in with some gesso, and I'm just painting right over the tissue paper to push the design to the background a little bit and to make it just a little less obvious on the page. When you do this, you can use a really thin coat, or you can also use a thicker coat like I'm doing here to push the image farther into the background. And now I'm going in with some Holtz Distress Paint. This is Weathered Wood. It's kind of a gray color, and I really like the way this turned out. I was really happy with this color. At first I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but as it dried I got happier and happier with it. So yeah, this is an awesome color by Holtz. And once I have the page completely covered, I'm just going to let the paint completely dry over the page. And then I'm going to go in with some ink sprays. These are Dylusions Ink Sprays. I got them in a set of 2. I think one had like a purple and a red, and then the other one had a blue and a green. And those are the colors that I'm using here. And I'm just protecting my book with some paper towel so that the sprays don't get all over the pages, because they have a tendency to do that. And then you can see I'm just using my heat tool to go in and to dry this. I did this between every color so that way they wouldn't run together too much and become just kind of a muddy mess of colors. So in between each color, I don't think I show it, but in between each color I'm going in with my heat tool just to kind of set the colors and to dry them a little bit before I move on to my next color. And sorry the video isn't the greatest here. I was trying to tip the book to get the ink to run, so some of it is a little bit hard to see. I did the best I could to try to get it on video while I was getting the ink to run. So I kind of checked my pages as I went along that were below or behind this page just to make sure it wasn't staining them. And it really didn't, and that's a combination of using that tissue paper. That keeps the ink off of the other pages, because if you don't use that tissue paper, it will bleed through those pages extremely bad. It stains everything, so be really careful about where you're spraying it. My hands have been stained all day. I filmed this video this morning, and I have been scrubbing my hands all day long trying to get the ink off, so it definitely will stain. And there's my cat Da Vinci. He got curious as to what was going on, so he decided to make an appearance. I'm going in with some sentiments by Holtz. These are just little stickers that say different words, or he actually has some sets that say full phrases. So if you've never seen these are really fun and a cool way to switch up the text in a layout. So I'm just putting down the phrase live your life in, and then I'm going to put the full phrase is live your life in color, but I'm just going to use live your life in from this stamp set. And then I'm just going over this with some gel medium, and you'll see here I totally forgot about this. I do it every single time I use these ink sprays. I forget that they run really bad with it seems like it's always the gel medium that I'm using. So it actually stained the white cards a little bit that I put down, the little white stickers, but I actually don't mind it. The end product, it looks kind of neat, so I'm not too upset about that. But I just went in with a baby wipe to try to clean it up. And then I'm using this paper set. This is just a paper set I found at Hobby Lobby. I found a page that was kind of colorful that I liked, and I was searching around to see if I had a stencil to use, and I didn't have a stencil, so I'm having to draw this by hand, and I don't really like my handwriting that much, but I'm doing the best I can, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Keeping in mind that whatever you write, if you draw it on the back, it has to be backwards, so that when you cut it out and use the front of the page, the letters are forwards. So not only am I not crazy about my handwriting or my bubble letters, but I had to do it backwards to make matters even more difficult. So I got them done, and they're not perfect, but I'm actually fairly happy with how they turned out. So now I'm just going in and I'm gluing down each letter, being a little bit more careful this time with the gel medium so that I don't run the Dylusions ink all over the place. And you can see I tried to cut these letters out of random parts of the paper so I'd have lots of little colorful areas on the word. And now that everything is completely, totally dry, I am going in with a PITT pen, and this is a Faber Castell big brush marker, and I'm just smudging it around each letter, and then, or each word in the Tim Holtz sentiment pack, and then I'm going to go all around the word color, just smudging this in to give it some shading. And one thing to remember with this is it smudges really easily in areas that you have the matte gel on your paper because they're non-porous. The Tim Holtz Distress Paint also helps a little bit with that. And now I'm just going to take the marker and go all along the outside of the page to give it a little bit of a border or a frame around the layout. This is a more simplistic layout. I don't have any super, flashy, I guess, pieces or stamping or anything on the spare page without the text like I normally do. But I did that intentionally because I wanted to feature some fun colors, and I wanted that to be kind of the focus of the page. And I could have done a lot of like really colorful, pretty flowers. I may actually save the idea that I had for those and do it in another layout. But I love ink splatters. I think they look super cool. I think they're a lot of fun. So I kind of wanted to feature that and make it, yeah, I mean, it's a little more simplistic, but that's okay. Every page doesn't have to be, chock full of stamping and imagery. Sometimes the fun part is picking out cool colors and letting them speak for themselves, I think. So one of my last touches here that I'm doing, and I do this on almost all my pages, is to go in with a little bit of modeling paste, and I'm just putting this through a stencil that looks like a bunch of ink splashes to give it some additional interest throughout the pages. And it's kind of subtle, but it's something fun and different for the page. And then the final step of the layout is I'm going in with a white Jelly Roll pen, and I'm just going to add a few little highlights to the word color. They're not super obvious. They don't stand out a whole lot, but when you're up close looking at the page, it's just something interesting to move your eyes around the page or around the sentiment and the letters. So again, some new techniques in this video, but I was really happy with how the page turned out, and it's a nice flow in the book, so I was pretty happy with it. Thank you guys so much for watching and for subscribing. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every week. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video.